The National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers rallied to protest the closure of the Department of Education. This is notably a different stance than Weingarten was taking previously. She previously said she did not mind whether the department existed or not.
Let's jump right into last week in Southern labor. Here's what workers in the U.S. South and the American colonies were up to from February 7th to the 14th. This segment is truncated, as is normal these days. You can get the full last week in Southern labor in our newsletter. You can subscribe at tvlr.fm. In new union campaigns, workers at an HBCU in Florida, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical Universities, FAMU, informed the university that they had unionized with the United Campus Workers, UCW-CWA Local 3821. Workers at Mosaic Family Services, a nonprofit serving domestic violence and human rights abuse survivors, requested voluntary recognition of their unionization with the Office and Professional Employees International Union, OPEIU Local 277. That's the same union that recently unionized workers at the International Rescue Committee. The employer filed a petition to hold a union election after a majority of the 14 workers at BWXT Nuclear Operations Group in Lynchburg, Virginia, demonstrated support for unionization with the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers. 7 workers at Impanola in New Orleans, Louisiana, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Teamsters Local 270, as did 6 more workers at another location in the same city. 28 workers at Entergy in Jackson, Mississippi, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW Local 605. The employer filed a petition to hold a union election after a majority of the 18 workers at United Insurance Company of America in Beaumont, Texas, demonstrated support for unionization with the United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW. 12 workers at Breakthrough Beverage in Virginia Beach, Virginia, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Teamsters, Local 822. 17 workers at Pardue Masonry of Central Florida in Tampa, Florida, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Union of Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers, IUBAC, Local 8. In election results, 93 workers at a National Transit in Atlanta, Georgia, withdrew a petition for a union election with the Teamsters, Local 728. 49 workers at Rhino Staging in Nashville, Tennessee, withdrew their petition for a union election with the independent union, Appalachian Concert Riggers Union. 19 workers at Molzer Crushed Stone in Owensboro, Kentucky, voted 13-5 in favor of unionization with the Central Midwest Regional Council of the International Brotherhood of Carpenters, IBC. 5 workers at Lakeshore Recycling Systems in Mayflower, Arkansas, voted 3-1 in favor of unionization with the Teamsters, Local 373. 72 workers at Norion Functional Chemicals in LaPorte, Texas, voted 42-74 against decertifying their union, meaning the United Steelworkers USW remains. 19 workers at Cargill in Kansas City, Missouri, voted 5-14 in favor of decertifying their union, meaning USW Local 617 is no longer their collective bargaining representative. 7 workers at Joe Hudson's Collision Center in St. Robert, Missouri, voted 6-1 in favor of unionization with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, IAMAW, District Lodge 9. 26 workers at E.N. Bisso and Son Towing in New Orleans, Louisiana, voted 10-13 against unionization with the American Maritime Officers, AMO. In settlements, grievances, and unfair labor practices, this is not the South, but was too fascinating not to share. The Trump-appointed NLRB General Counsel is seeking a CMEX bargaining order to require Wells Fargo to bargain with a union in California, even though the union lost the election because Wells Fargo so egregiously violated the law during the election. Before you get too excited, though, the same General Counsel rescinded a slew of Abruzzo directives, including the CMEX one, so I'm not exactly sure what to make of that. In strikes and bargaining updates, nurses at New Orleans, Louisiana's University Medical Center went back to work after a 2-day strike and a 3-day lockout.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Donald Trump continued his attack on America's civil servants by laying off thousands of probationary workers. In the layoff notices, they typically mention performance, but there is no evidence that these thousands of civil servants were performing poorly. Contrary to popular understanding, even probationary employees within the federal government must be fired for cause. Federal unions like the American Federation of Government Employees, AFGE, are challenging the firings. Here are some of the terminated positions: between 1,200 and 2,000 workers at the Department of Energy, including a professional colleague of mine, and including employees at a power grid office, the Nuclear Security Administration National Labs, hydroelectric plants, and Cold War legacy nuclear sites. After issuing these layoffs, they rescinded some of the ones at the National Nuclear Security Administration. The Departments of Veterans Affairs dismissed more than 1,000 employees as well, and there were several more, but I'll leave it at that. The Teamsters are announcing the details of their tentative agreement with Costco as those members prepare to vote on whether or not to ratify the contract. The agreement includes a $3 an hour wage increase, 6 weeks of paid leave for 30-year employees, and stronger discharge protections and more. Teamsters at Hertz, who had been on strike at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas and Palm Beach International Airport in Florida, voted to end their strikes and ratify new collective bargaining agreements. 555 Teamsters at Danone in Verona, Virginia, voted to ratify a new contract that includes major wage increases, pension contributions, and reduced health care costs, according to the union. Orange County, Florida schools become one of the only in the state of Florida to offer maternity leave this year, thanks to the efforts of the union there. In political and legislative updates, hundreds of Alabama residents received a notice that due to Trump's suspension of a Biden-era grant to deal with high energy prices for low-income folks, their utility bill would be increased by $100 a month beginning immediately. A bill to bring a casino to Fairfax County, Virginia, along with 5,000 good-paying union jobs, has been killed. The effort was strongly supported by unions and has many in Virginia labor discussing openly how they will be interacting with politicians that got elected backed on the back of union support but voted against this union-backed initiative to bring 5,000 good-paying union jobs to the district. The Missouri Attorney General is suing Starbucks because it does not have enough white male baristas. In a just really frankly disgusting display, the Teamsters Union is, quote, applauding, I kid you not, applauding the selection of David Keeling to lead the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Keeling was head of safety, the head safety executive at Amazon, as the company saw a higher than industry average injury rate in the warehouse industry, and as the company allegedly hid safety data, according to a recent U.S. Senate probe. The Teamsters noted that Keeling used to work as a part-time package handler at UPS, but as one Teamster noted on Twitter, I remember when we used to talk crap about union members going into management. The National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers rallied to protest the closure of the Department of Education. This is notably a different stance than Weingarten at the AFT was taking previously. She previously said she did not mind whether the department existed or not. Julia Love spoke with 10 undocumented immigrants who work for Tesla and SpaceX in Texas, including one 50-year-old woman working for a cleaning subcontractor for $16 an hour at Tesla for the richest person in the world, let's remember. You can read the piece in Bloomberg. The official government website for DOGE, a commission run by ostensible experts, actually racist teenagers, is insecure and can be edited by anyone, at least as of last week. New DoD Secretary Pete Hegseth issued new guidance barring the use of project labor agreements on DoD construction projects, including seeking to remove ones that they already agreed to. Trump's move to freeze foreign aid has stranded hundreds of millions of dollars of life-saving medical supplies, leaving them at risk of expiration, theft, and damage. Trump looks poised to make it easier for banks to charge consumers high overdraft fees and to make medical debt be listed on credit reports again, as he sets his sights on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and reversing consumer protection rules that the Bureau made last year. In internal union affairs, the IBEW has a really cool report on how they're encouraging locals to expand apprenticeship programs. If we missed something, let us know at tvlr.fm/contact.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.